And Carney has a choice right now. He can sit there and actually kick in gear, which he on his facade, he's kind of showing that, but he's two-faced. You either let us get to work, start getting rid of all this carbon tax nonsense that the United States is dropping in all these other countries, and let's get back to work here. And she's done some great stuff, but the problem is it's always with a huge cost. Okay, you want to build a pipeline, well, then we need to take this from you. We need to get extra regulation. I used to be in the oil and gas industry. I've been in it all. You know what I mean? I've owned businesses. I've been a VP of public companies. I've been in the oil and gas industry as a service manager. So I've seen it all. I've seen all this. I'm 60 years old. I don't need to fight anymore. I'm pretty well done. A lot of these guys in my age don't fight about this stuff. They go, let the next generation take care of it. Well, there's a problem here. They're destroying a great province. I was born in Ontario, okay? So don't start playing the East-West thing, because I was born in Ontario. I came out here when I was 11 years old, and I've worked, and I've got family and everything. And how many of them agree with what's going on, that we're being trashed? And Carney has a choice right now. He can sit there and actually kick in gear, which he on his facade, he's kind of showing that, but he's two-faced. You either let us get to work, start getting rid of all this carbon tax nonsense that the United States is dropping in all these other countries, and let's get back to work here. Otherwise, we're going to go broke. And we know that. We've got a recession now happening. So why is Alberta going to get dragged down with a Canadian-wide recession ran by Liberals? It's time to move on. It's want to get going here.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the two-face aspect of Carney, because that was also brought up on the Mini Canada's National Town Hall on TikTok just a minute ago. So a lot of people are starting to see that. So with your experience then in the past oil and gas sectors, do you believe that this MOU is a good deal or a bad deal for Alberta?
It's a deal with the devil.
Okay. Expand on
that. The devil is the Liberals and Ottawa, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, listen to Poilievre all the time, and I agree with Poilievre. We got to take regulation down. I mean, my businesses are so overregulated by everybody, like they treat you like a crook. Like, get rid of this in oil and gas. When I was in the oil and gas, I was a service manager, and I worked all over the world. You know who had the strictest regulations, the tightest environmental, the biggest safety programs that I've ever seen anywhere in the world?
Yeah,
Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's nothing wrong with our backyard. We do a great job, and I was in the burner combustion side of the business. I mean, that's what's going up into the air. We were way ahead of other countries on that. I mean, combustion technology companies are based out of Alberta with burner management systems and low NOx, and it comes from Alberta. It's not these other areas. So that's all part of what he's trying to say. We need to somehow clean that up. Go pick on China. If somebody's going to need to pay taxes or pay a tariff for what's going on in the world, it should be China, because they're unregulated. We're just a minute part of the global emissions issue. So if Carney would just kind of close that whole briefcase up and let us get back to work, then we'll get back to work. But he's not, because the Liberals want to have their hand in the pie. So Brookfield's involved and everybody else, and you follow the money, and where does it go back? To the Liberals and Carney. So it doesn't work. We got to move on.
How about this novel idea?
Yeah.
Encourage oil service companies to share their technology with, emerging economies, so that they're producing clean energy instead of the way they're doing it now. That would have a bigger effect on the environment than shutting down all of Canada's oil sands.
Want to jump into the comments here, because this is Canada's National Town Hall, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X with our guest, Jeff. Really appreciate you being here. We've got Rosie chiming in. Great guest. He has vision and truth in his back pocket, so that's kudos to you, and thank you for being here. And thank you, Rosie, for that. Danielle Smith is a federalist and can't take the independence movement forward. I want to touch on that comment further, because, again, it's not Danielle Smith's job to take the separatist movement forward. It's the premier's job to be the premier for the entire province, which is a mix of those that are in the UCP camp, although it's the largest supporting camp, I get that, but there are also liberal leaning, NDP leaning, green leading individuals, business owners, taxpayers here in the province of Alberta. Sometimes I think we just have to separate Danielle Smith from being all things to the UCP party because she has an entire province to govern, or unless I'm completely off the mark there. Gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong. You can't. You can't correct me. That's why. That's why no one's saying anything.
I can correct you. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And honestly, every time I saw Danielle Smith in town, and I saw when she got in and she started really giving it to him, I was giving her a thumbs up every time I saw her. But something switched there, and this whole united Alberta or a strong Alberta in an independent Alberta
sovereign Alberta within a united
Alberta within Canada showed the federalist side of her. So my question is, and I don't know this for sure, is this like Jason Kenney? And if you talk to anybody that was in politics with Jason Kenney, he was always lining up to go federally again if he did well, but he didn't do well in Alberta, so he went back into the background. So is Danielle Smith, because she keeps toting this, and a lot of Canadians have a lot of respect for her because she has a lot of, I won't say the word, but she's tough. She's a tough lady. She's one of the best we've ever had since Klein, and I have all the respect for what she's done. But is she now turning coat and trying to push the federal line so the next job is for prime minister or leader of the Conservative Party? That's what you always got to watch in politics. There's always an agenda, okay? And you have to watch it, and I really worry about that, okay? So if we don't sit there and watch that, and she's going to stay toting that line. If I was Danielle Smith, I'd be saying, listen, I'm a federalist, or I'm all for Canada being in, but if you're not going to treat us good, I'm all for separation because we can do better on our own. Why can't she say that? I mean,
I wonder if it has anything to do with the oath she swore when she took office. And I don't know how that would impact her legally or, as a premier, if that would be stripped from her. I just don't know the law well enough, but I have to think that there has to be something in that would prevent her from saying it. It's the only thing that really says. And I've never met her. I don't know what her personal thoughts or feelings are.
Okay, just okay. But Josh, on that point, whether it's the oath or whatever, at the end of the day, she's coming out as the premier of the province, saying that her personal view, just like Jeff's personal view or Josh's personal view, is her view is a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. But you know what? I know there are other views out there. Hey, Canada, thanks for watching this episode and this previous live stream of Unfiltered. Make sure you follow all things Unfiltered on social media, including Facebook, TikTok, X, and Instagram. Subscribe to Unfiltered on Substack. And if you can't watch Unfiltered, you can now stream Unfiltered Unplugged on iHeartRadio and Spotify. And don't forget to join us this Sunday at 1 p.m. for Canada's National Town Hall and Unfiltered Live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Now, why don't you grab a fresh cup of coffee and enjoy one of these episodes of Unfiltered? I hope to see you there.